Assalamualaikum. Today I want to present about the hydroelectric power. My group member is Mohamad AMALI MIRZA bin HASHIM, Mohamad Syahmi bin HAMDAN, Mohamad ZAKI HAKIMI bin RAHIM, Wan Mohamad SYAFIQ bin Wan MITHLAIN, and lastly Mohamad IZZAT HAZMI bin Mohamad NAWAWI. From turbine-driven generator that transform the potential energy of falling or fast-flowing water into mechanical energy. Hydropower is produced in 150 countries, with 33% of global hydropower generated by Asia-Pacific region in 2013. With 920 terawatt-hour of production in 2013, China is the largest percent of global hydropower generated, representing 16.9% of domestic electricity use. Around 71% of all renewable electricity generated on Earth is from hydropower. In 2015, hydropower generated 16.6% of the total electricity in the world and 70% of all renewable electricity. And for the next 25 years, it was projected to rise by around 3.1% per year. Hydroelectric power was the most commonly used source of renewable electricity in the early 21st century, and it accounted for more than 80% of the world total power generation capacity in 2019. Dams can produce electricity because they contain special structure designed to transform energy into electrical power from flowing water. They can store and direct large amounts of water and are popular hydroelectricity sources. Spin a turbine that in turn spins a metal shaft by using a power source, will creating the equivalent of an electric generator that generates and stores electricity. The power source is water itself. In the case of hydropower, the turbine spins as water drive a turbine, and electromagnet in the turbine produce an electrical current within them in the stationary coil of wire.
Okay, let's see on history of hydroelectric energy. So, first of all, let's see the hydropower milestones. So, in 1849, James Francis has invented a turbine called Francis turbine, applying the hydropower principle including rotor, shift ring, and draft tube. So how does it work? So number one, the water must penetrate into inlet nozzle and reduce in velocity. Water then flows into turbine's forward direction with continuous reduction in spiral casing field. So water then hits turbine blades at constant speed. So due to the design, water flow occurs at low pressure at one point, and the other sides it creates a lower pressure. Let's see on the invention of the hydropower history during the other years. So in 1882, the world's first hydropower plant begins operation on Fox River in Wisconsin, United States. And then in 1931, the construction on Hoover Dam begins with a total of more than 20,000 workers. In 6 years, finally in 1937, it begins to generate power on Colorado River in Arizona, United States. So the conventional hydropower energy that we use now, from 1980 until today, the conventional hydropower capacity is nearly 3 times compared to the capacity in 1920 level. A vast expansion of hydropower's potential is possible through new technologies for conventional pump storage, marine and hydrokinetic projects, modernizing existing hydropower facilities, and adding generation to existing non-power dams. So I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, we move to the application of the hydropower. The hydropower energy is the energy that is obtained from a particular volume of water falling. The rate of change of the angular momentum of falling water or its friction or both on the surface of the turbine blade produce a differential force that induce spinning motion on the turbine runner. The mechanical application is primarily valid for the small-scale machine tools, and the large-scale hydropower is used to produce a bigger amount of the electric. So from this figure, we can see that the components that are related or that is consist in the hydropower. From this figure, we can see that the electromagnetic rotor that is inside the generator is in a stator. The stator is made up of the electric wires that is known as the conductors. The principle of the electromagnetic induction is applied during the working process to rotate the rotor in the stator and producing the electricity. The transmission system components like the transformers, the switchyard and the transmission line are functioning to distribute the generated electrics. So the applications of the hydroelectric energy is in controlling the flood by constructing the dam and also producing the electricity. Basically, the dam is constructed at a location where the water is flowing very fast. The construction of dam helps to control the water flowing through the river, and the dam is used to store the river water in a reservoir, and the water will only be released through a turbine. At the next, the application of the hydroelectric energy is in generating the electricity, and this can be explained through the function of the turbine. The function of the turbine is to control the amount of water flowing, and it will spin if the reservoir releases the water, and from the spinning turbine, the electricity can be generated. And the electricity that is generated change from the kinetic energy to the mechanical energy, and the energy can be stored in battery, and it can be used to power up some electrical power sources.
Okay, next, for the pros and cons of hydropower, that's the advantages and the disadvantage of the hydropower. So hydroelectric energy is considered as renewable source of energy, as it uses water that is naturally replenishing supply. Since water powered the hydropower, the energy produced by hydroelectric plants is safe. It will not emit any pollution or toxic gas into the environment. Okay, next is the advantage for the hydropower is that it pairs well with other renewables. So wind power and solar power mostly rely on the natural availability of wind and sunlight, just like an energy storage system. So at times of low wind or at night when the sun isn't shining, hydropower provides electricity when solar and wind cannot, making them more economical and practical source of electricity. And the third one is hydropower can meet peak electricity demand. And besides, hydropower plants can be upgraded quickly, and the flow of water can be controlled according to varying energy demands, making it a flexible energy source. So the storage hydropower and pump storage hydropower facilities have the ability to generate electricity on demand by releasing dam water through turbines. Hydropower can be seen as a cost-competitive energy source because of its low cost of operation and maintenance of only few parts despite its high upfront cost to build the power plants. So the disadvantage of this power is that it has been impacting the nature because of the damming of water in order to be used as a reservoir. So the change of the water flow and quality will disrupt the fragile river ecosystem and natural animal migration path upstream or downstream. In addition, when the water flow is cut off, less sediment will flow to the end of the river. That is one of the natural way to uphold land. As the expensive upfront for building the hydropower plants and dams, because it basically involve a large project, and this also include the materials used and logistical challenges to build it. So even though it requires less maintenance, still for recouping the money back, the hydropower plants need to operate for a long time. And last, the disadvantage is lack of available reservoirs. As dam holds large volume of water, the safety of it within the nearby population. Because of this, after completion of the dam is still need to be rendered with maximum security, and the overall cost will only add up with this addition. So hydropower plants' ability to produce electricity can be affected if there is a drought. So while hydropower is renewable, there are limited places in the world that are suitable for plant construction. On top of this, some of these places are not close to major cities that could fully benefit from the energy. Okay, that's all for the advantages and the disadvantages. And that's for the conclusion.
My name is Muhammad ZAKI HAKIMI bin Abdul Rahim. My matric number 1170530. So for the last part, I will present for the conclusion. So we can conclude that hydroelectric power is basically using natural sources such as water to produce electrical energy. So this energy is obtained from the vast volume of water falling, and then the mechanical energy to electrical energy can be converted when there is huge amount of water flowing that can spin the turbine. And then the spinning of turbine process can be said that the most important parts when converting mechanical to electrical energy. And this is because the metal shaft, which is in turn with the turbine, will create the equivalent of an electric generator that generate and store electricity. And then the hydroelectric power, we can say that has the advantage that can contribute to the good of people as well as the environment. So that's all for the conclusion part. Thank you.